Webheads, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike Spider Slayer. This is Comic Book Corner 2.0. Today, guys, on Spider-Man Weekly, which I haven't done one in a while because we haven't had a really good Spider-Man book in a while, we're going to be talking about the Amazing Spider-Man issue 21. This is it, guys. This is the story arc that leads to those monumental issues of 25, 26. These are supposedly the answers we've been all waiting for. Is it worth the payoff, or are we going to experience another Kindred factor, right? So this is the first issue of that story arc. You're not going to expect a conclusion or all the answers right from the start. The artwork in this book, it's John Romita Jr., okay? It is what you can expect at this point. The colors are bright and vibrant. There are some decent facial expressions. Just proportions are off. It's just what you can expect from the artist at this point in time, right? The scenes that shine in this comic book are actually the battle scenes when Spider-Man is fighting and when Spider-Man is in this book himself. I think that looks actually pretty good. I'm not going to deny that. I'll say that pretty much every time. Just like when he was battling Tombstone or when he's battling the Vulture, I thought it looks solid. So let's get into the meat potato of this story, right? What's kicking everything off? And if you're confused, I suggest that you go back and read issues 555, 56, and 57. 57, excuse me. Look those up wherever you can digitally and try to read those so you have a better understanding on who Benjamin Rabin is. He was a character created by Zeb Wells back in 2008, I think it was. So we really haven't seen that character since. So it's very fitting that Zeb Wells does bring this character into play here. So the story starts off with a very lighthearted feel, and I actually like that, and it's very relatable because I'm a parent. I deal with the challenges of getting your kids outside of the house and getting ready to school and going to the park or whatever it was. And that was very comical. It was a very fun way to start what is going to be a very serious story thread here. Just as they're heading out the door, all of a sudden you see that this snow starts to appear. And if you read those issues 555 through 57, you're going to realize what that snow is, what that represents. We go back to 1 year earlier. Now that's when you know as the reader here that, okay, we're getting started. We're finally getting to where we wanted to get to with this series from when we were teased 20 issues ago. So we go back into Rikers Island. We go into the character by the name of Rabin, and he is this guy that worships these Mayan gods, and he wants to be this overarching king god of them all. And in order to do that, he has to do all these different types of sacrifices. And in issue 555 through 557, you got to learn what he needed to do. And one of them was a female, right? And others were males. And he had to meet this god at the exact moment in time by this temple, or what represented a temple, and then he could become this god. Well, Spider-Man stopped him. And now it looks like this time is happening again. And so he found a way to do all his mathematician stuff, because he is a mathematician, and a way to escape the prison. So as we got to the end of Nick Spencer's run after Beyond story arc, this is where we got to in the comic book. We got right to here as they were about to move in together, and we saw that bright flashing light. Now, all of a sudden, Spider-Man is doing battle against this Rabin character. He doesn't remember him, which I found very weird. I was like, why does he not remember this guy? He did battle against him. It was a pretty serious fight, you know? And for some reason, he had to touch him or put markings on him or whatever the case may be in order to make him remember. So he wound up remembering him, and he also grabbed Mary Jane, which could be the creation of maybe where her bracelet comes from in the future. We're not sure yet, but these two markings puts these two in that different dimension, at least where you think where Peter came from when you saw where he was gone for 6 months. So this takes place 1 year earlier. I don't know if Peter was gone longer than Mary Jane. We don't know, but this is what you get at the end of the comic book. So it's this desolate type of Earth or alternate dimension We don't know. And where it goes from here, we still don't know. But if you read the editor's notes at the end or the creator's notes, they do say that they care about these characters. We know they mean a lot to you, but this story might bring tears to your eyes. That's some serious stuff right there. After reading this book, I can definitely say that this book is back on track again, story-wise. This is the time where you're going to want to read Amazing Spider-Man once again to see what's going to happen with these characters. It's not very emotional driven, but it sets up the plot of what's to happen. If you want to get to understand who this Benjamin Rabin character is, again, I'm going to tell you to go back and read issues 555 through 557. It's not a huge story, but it gives you a little bit more in depth of who the character is. And then when you go back and reread the end of this story, it makes sense, because if you're reading this character for the first time, you're going to think, I don't know who this guy is. Is this a first appearance of this guy? And all the way he talks and everything just doesn't make sense. But when I went back and read these issues, it did make sense once again. So it's kind of funny how Zeb Wells pulls out a character that we haven't seen for years. That's not, he's like a D or Z list character that could cause the end of Peter Parker and Mary Jane permanently. So at the end of the day, like I said, definitely a worthy comic book to pick up. So at the end of the day, if you dropped Spider-Man, this is the time to pick it up once again. Check it out, guys. I think we're going to be in for a wild ride. It lost its way for a little bit, but things are heating up. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to leave my video here that's called Worthy Ones, where I cover all the current week's issue number ones and deem them worthy or not worthy. And of course, guys, as always, keep buying, keep collecting, but most importantly, please always read your comics. Guys, I'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye.